He's a former Luciferian who converted to Christianity. In 2015, Jacob McKelvy started the Greater Church of Lucifer in Houston and a nationwide Luciferian movement. In 2016, he left the Luciferian church and became a born-again Christian. Jacob McKelvy joins me now via Skype. Well, what exactly is a Luciferian? Is that the same thing as Satan worship?
It really, it's kind of semantics at this point now that I'm looking at it. But to a Luciferian, it's an evolved form of Satanism. Luciferianism is an eclectic philosophy taken from many different sources rather than just one, so to speak. Satanists tend to be extremely hedonistic, self-centered and egotistical, where Luciferians take that and believe in a balance and all that. Without one, there can't be another.
How and why did you get involved with that religion?
It was a very long process. When I was younger, my little sister died by a rattlesnake bite, and that led to a toxic form of thought. I was born and raised Mormon, and so I understood what Jesus Christ was and what God was, and if they took my sister away, so I was going to go towards the dark side. So, but that being said, there was a lot of hopelessness and feeling of powerlessness that drew me to this. When Luciferianism says that you are your own God, and that's pretty powerful.
And you even took it one step further by starting a Luciferian church. What brought that on?
It was a quest for power. I always felt that I was meant for something more important. I just had a thought one day, and all my rage kind of boiled to a point, and I saw the world around me, and I said there had to be a better way. I wasn't ever expecting that the Greater Church of Lucifer to be as big as it was. I wasn't planning that. It originally started in my garage as just a group of people getting together, and it just kind of snowballed and snowballed and snowballed. So I wanted to learn more about the people, because I was always been a solo act from this point on, and I wanted to get that gathering of people together so we could all learn together and progress.
So some Christians nearby started reaching out to you. Tell us about your first meeting with the Christian pastor, Robert Hogan.
I have to say Robert is probably one of the best men I've ever met in my life. He's the real deal. What had happened is I was driving by, I was getting some groceries, believe it or not, for my wife. And I was driving by old Spring First Church, and something, it was like a whack on the back of the head. I don't know how to really describe it. And so this burning sensation that I had to go in that church. So I did. Robert wasn't there that day, but he called me back. We talked on the phone 2 hours, and then we set an interview for August 11th. And we talked for 4 hours that day, and I ended up giving my life over to Christ that day.
And then you and your wife just eventually denounced all ties to Luciferianism. Why was that important to you?
This is kind of a hard question to answer at this point. There's so much to it. It's just so many moving parts. For one, I have never felt a peace and a love like I've felt now. When I was back in Luciferianism, I would just put Christians, pretty much everything that's religious or faith-based, into one pot and call them slaves. But there was a progression and that allowed me to see the other side of things It wasn't all about the protesters or the people spewing hate or the people out there, saying that God hates sinners, where that's the biggest lie. God doesn't hate the sinner, he hates the sin, but he loves the sinner. And, as Robert elegantly put it in the video that was, that is on the internet right now, is that all people are sinners. So that doesn't make any sense. The power and peace and wholeness that I feel today is far greater than anything that I've ever felt before. And to the people who are watching this, and I'm sure that people from my past will be watching this, I was wrong. I was deeply and sorely wrong. We can't put all the people that we see in the media in a box and say this is all of them. And I've come to learn that there's another side to this of peace and wholeness. I don't have all the answers. I don't have all the answers yet.
Well, finally, Jacob, tell us about your mission in life now.
Well, I have 20 years of cult experience. My mission in life is to fill in the knowledge gap so far. I don't know all of it yet. Precept upon precept, lineup upon lineup, things will be revealed to me as time goes by when I'm ready for them. But right now, I have a ministry. I'm a certified credentialed minister. I'm here to share my story, which is just not my story. It's also the testimony of the will of God and the love of God. And to get out there and tell people and prove without doubt that no matter how far away you are from God, there's always a way home. There's always, because I created a church to destroy dogmatic religion, and he still loved me. So if he can still love me for me to be here today talking to you, then there's no excuses anymore,
Indeed.
I want to fill in that knowledge gap also with when it comes down to the fear base. There's a lot of people out there today that are going around and have similar stories as mine and saying that they came out of this and they're using fear as a tactic. I'm telling you right now, if your house is clean, you have nothing to fear.
Jacob McKelvy, your story is fascinating and inspirational. Thank you so much for sharing it with us and for being with us today.
Well, thank you for having me.